It reminded me of this morning, there was a section of the lesson. We're talking about how all the world is in subjection to Christ Jesus. And that if we read in 1 Corinthians 15, we find that what Christ did is He came to right the ship. He came to right the wrongs that were done by the first Adam. He's considered the second Adam. And I mentioned then that the world was upside down in sin. There was a painter by the name of Piet Mondrian. He was a Dutch abstract artist, and he painted a picture in a painting in 1941, and it became so well beloved that it was accepted into the Museum of Modern Art in New York City in 1945, and I think it was in 1980 that it was then taken to a private collection in Germany, or not a private collection, a collection in Germany in a museum there. But it was discovered 2 years ago by the museum's curator that this painting for 75 years has been upside down. Oops. And I thought that was pretty interesting that this beloved painting that was just so well accepted by the art world, nobody caught that the creator of that painting meant to have it right side up. The creator of this world meant to have the world right side up. And it made me think about Acts chapter 17 and verse 1. If you'll turn there with me. It says, "Now when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where there was a synagogue of the Jews. And Paul went in, and as was his custom, and on 3 Sabbath days, he reasoned with them from the Scriptures, explaining and proving that it was necessary for the Christ to suffer, to rise from the dead, and saying, 'This Jesus whom I proclaim to you, He's the Christ.' And some of them were persuaded and joined Paul and Silas, as did a great many of the devout Greeks, and not a few of the leading women." Verse 4 is extremely important. But verse 5 and 6 is also important. Not everyone accepted it. Not everyone appreciated what Paul was bringing to their attention. But the Jews were jealous, and taking some wicked men of the rabble, they formed a mob and set the city in an uproar and attacked the house of Jason, seeking to bring them out to the crowd. And when they could not find them, they dragged Jason and some of the brothers before the city authorities, shouting, "These men who have turned the world upside down have come here also." See, they recognized that the world was right side up. But hearing about Christ helped them recognize that what these men were saying, man, it's flipping our world upside down. But to the Creator, it had already been upside down. Christ came to turn it right side up. You see, in 2022, when this curator recognized that the painting had been upside down for 75 years, they said, we can't turn it right side up. And if we turn it right side up, it might damage it. If we turn it right side up, we've become used to the way this painting looks. So since the discovery of the error, there are no plans to correct it. Some say that the orientation confusion is now a unique part of the painting's history. It may be wrong, but it's what we're used to for 75 years. It reminds me of verses 5 and 6 that there were Jews who were jealous. There were Jews who, because of their perspective of what was upright, they didn't want anything to change. And so they persecuted the way, and so that they could keep everything upside down as it had always been. Because that's how they were comfortable. It's uncomfortable to recognize that there is wrong for 75 years. And so many people will recognize that something's been wrong, and they'll say, you know what? That just makes it more unique. That just makes it a part of the history. That just makes it life. But Christ made a difference. He made it possible for us to be right side up the way the Creator intended. So I think you know that the invitation is as clear as can be. We can know the right thing to do and fail to do it. That's the definition of sin. To him who knows the right thing to do and does not do it, to him it is sin. James 4:17. But we can sit there and say, well, I know the right thing to do, the right side up thing to do, but I'm comfortable in this upside down world. I'm comfortable in my way of thinking and my way of living, and I'm just going to keep on doing it. But that's not following the Creator. That's not following the designer. So maybe you find yourself this evening living in an upside down way of thinking. Will you be willing to turn it right? To do what's right, to do right. You have to do so according to the standard that is Christ. The world sees that He turned it upside down. No, He turned it right side up. Has He turned your life right side up? Can we assist you? Can we encourage you? Can we help you? If we can, please respond now while together we stand and as we sing.